Hello, Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching The Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, a cooking show where I make recipes inspired by various tabletop role-playing games like Pathfinder, Shadowrun, and in the case of today's episode, we are returning back to Dungeons & Dragons, specifically to 2nd edition's Volo's Guide to the Dalelands. Which I know you may not play 2nd edition, but that's okay because the nice thing about the Volo's Guides is that they are not really, I want to say rule books so much as they are sort of volumes of flavor text. I mean, the interesting thing about the Bard Volo from the Forgotten Realms campaign setting is that he's kind of, he's a bard. He's kind of, flamboyant, and you would know this especially if you happen to play Baldur's Gate 3. But he also writes a number of volumes, which are basically travel guides to various areas around Faerun, and usually detailing all the various inns, shops, tea houses, taverns, and, well, usually dungeons and whatnot that you might be able to find in your game, and that your GM or, well, you can sort of supplement by sort of creating a little dungeon in that town while you're there. It's a lot of fun. There's so many descriptions, and I've gotten so much material from these various guides. So, today's recipe is from Volo's Guide to the Dalelands. The Dalelands are kind of like, I want to say the closest thing would probably be the Holy Roman Empire. All the various sort of Germanic little countries, like medieval Germany. And so they're kind of a sort of loose set of states, and to be quite honest, Faerun is sort of that to begin with. But there isn't really one giant kingdom or anything like. There's just a lot of principalities. This particular recipe, Amaratha's tea biscuits. Once I find where the heck I put that PDF, it is open. I was kind of prepared. Happens to be located in Elven Crossing. I'm just going to go ahead and read a little bit from this, from Volo's Guide to the Dalelands, so you can get an idea of the area where this place is located, because this is a tea house in the middle of a place called Elven Crossing. Now, this settlement is a little over 100 folk shelters in the trees on the edge of the Elven Woods where Mistledale ends in the River Ashba, emerges from forest, and is run down from Shadowdale. Blah, 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 blah. A little-known local landmark is a massive shadow top partially uprooted in a long-ago spring flood. Itself is a small, shady place of woodcarvers, hunters, and mushroom pickers. These folks love the forest and augment their incomes by hunting for herbs that grow in the wild in the sun-dappled glades deep in the woods. So, this place doesn't have a tavern, but locals usually gather for drinks at Amaratha's tea house. Amaratha's tea house. Made out of hollow stumps of 3 massive trees joined together, this place is all windows and chatter. Locals come here to drink various woodberry teas and eat honeyed biscuits or Amaratha's very good, sharp, marbled green cheese, which one can buy in bulk if interested. Amaratha also serves brandy and some wines made from forest plants. So, what I'm essentially going to be doing with this recipe is making kind of a British-style tea biscuit. And biscuit, I don't mean, the buttermilk fluffy biscuits that you serve with gravy like I had a few episodes ago. No, I'm talking about what we Americans call cookies, and what the Brits would rather be horrified about us smothering with gravy. We're not doing that. We are making some honey-based English-style tea biscuits made with, well, forest-growing herbs. So I decided that I am going to be using some fresh rosemary and mint, as well as a little bit of almond extract to just kind of add a little bit of desserty goodness to it, but also since a lot of German pastries tend to be almond flavored rather than vanilla, and also vanilla was more of a New World item if we're going by a medieval style cuisine. And that is the sound of my dinner timer going off. So my husband's going to attend to that in just a moment while we start making some cookies. So, without much further ado, because my brain is dead, I am tired, and it is time to get this done, over with, so you can watch Loki, and I can watch Loki, and I can eat some biscuits while watching Loki. Not that I don't want to be here. Don't get me wrong. Just working in the office has been, well, going back to the office has been a bit of a, it's been a bit hard, and that's putting it mildly. And the thing is, it's not that, well, they have been working me quite a bit lately, but also is just traffic going home and coming back. I mean, even the smallest bit of traffic can wear you out. That and the whole, I get tired from having to take things apart and then set things back up again. I mean, when I was working from home, I was at least able to, do laundry or dishes or whatever partway through the day. Can't really do that now. I kind of have to rush to do it before I head out to work in the morning, or try to slog myself into doing it when I get home. But anyway, what you want are 2 sticks of butter, which is about a cup of unsalted butter, softened, so you basically want to take it out of the fridge about at least a half an hour before you plan on using it. We're going to need a cup and a half of granulated sugar, and we're going to do a little bit more measuring and chopping and whatnot here. Just because if once we start putting the stuff together, it starts to, well, do its thing. So, I need to get about a cup of honey. Now you can use the stuff that's in the bear, or, whatever kind of flavored honey that you would prefer. Orange blossom is nice. So is wildflower. I've got mostly the stuff in the bear, which is clover. And hopefully that's enough, but if not, I've got some wildflower honey to supplement if need be, which that looks like that's going to be the case. And I forgot to spray the inside of this measuring cup before I put it in there, but that's okay. Alright, it looks like I need about a 1/4 cup more. Okay. It's all crystallized and stuff. Alright, it looks like I'm gonna have to melt this honey down a bit. I'll do it in about 10-second increments, and hopefully that will melt it enough to put it into this. And it looks like I'm going to be adding my almond extract and honey at the same time. So I'm going to put that into the same container as... we go. Woo! Brain. So yeah, the reason why I'm so tired too is I just managed to get the post out for my last stream, which was my first sponsored stream with Viking Alchemist. We had made some mead-poached apples that were then baked in puff pastry and filled with the reduced poaching liquid. I have to microwave this a little bit more. And yeah, it turned out excellent, and we had a lot of syrup left over, so I used what was left over as pork chop marinade, and oh man, especially in the sous vide, so good. So, I am just using up all the honey. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just been super tired lately. Come on. If your honey crystallizes, it's fine. Interesting thing about honey, it doesn't spoil. And granted, it can ferment into mead, but that's not what we have here. It's just crystallized, which is still usable. I just have to melt it down. in the microwave to get it to be pourable once again. Because right now it's a wee bit difficult to get out of the bottle. It happens. We've been there. Oh boy. But yeah, so we are trying to get caught up on Munchies and Minis. Today's recipe was voted on by my Patreon subscribers. That is one of the advantages you get by joining my Patreon. And that's really any level. Everyone who is a Patreon, one of my patrons, gets to vote in the poll for what Munchies and Minis recipes I do each month. So I've got this one here today. I've got a recipe for a Regency era punch that I might actually end up making Friday evening, because my friends are having a Pride Night party on Saturday evening, and I figure that would be the perfect thing to make, because they are, one, historical enthusiasts, and two, I'm basing the recipe off of the recently released Regency-era romance game, Good Society. Which, speaking of which, I will be playing Good Society with Sladies Atlanta on June 25th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. It should be a really fun time, so keep that in mind. Alright, I've got my honey. I am going to need a... Not a do-do-do-do, just that's the sound I make. Half a teaspoon of... Hey, sweetie, did you get the food? Or check on it? Okay. Cool. Half a teaspoon of almond extract. I'm just going to add that directly to the honey because it's going to be going in at the exact same time. Why waste a dish when I can just do that? So, got those things measured out. And I need to get about 3 cups of all-purpose flour, like so. Just gonna set this to the side somewhere on a paper towel, that'll do. So I'm gonna be adding gradually to my wet mix once I have that going. And I'm just gonna whisk that to sift it up a bit. I mean, yes, I could sift it, but one, my sifter kind of sucks. I need a new one. It's kind of semi-broken. And two, I am lazy, and I am tired, so... And I'm sure that a lot of times that when you're about to do some kind of cooking or baking thing, the bright-eyed and bushy-tailedness usually doesn't always last. Not being trying to be too negative, of course. But you know, there are just some times when you're just going, this is fine. And I know that I'm oftentimes that when it comes to baking anything after a day full of things. And that's exactly how I am right now. So, just gonna whisk the crap out of it to, one, take out my frustrations of the world, and two, reduce the number of clumps in our flour for a finer crumb. So, here we go. Alright, next I'm going to be whisking in some a baking soda, which you're going to need about a teaspoon of. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so about 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next up, you're going to want about a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. So, there's 1, there's 2, and whisk, 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 not wick, whisk, once again, to get that all finely blended in. Then, I'm going to set that to the side for now, because I'm going to need about a 1/4 cup each of chopped rosemary. I'm just going to strip that down. And strip this one too. And chop the crap out of it. And the way to do this without chopping your fingers off is that you need to, one, hold your knife properly, which you do by putting your index finger right up against the blade, and that's the index finger of your dominant hand that you'll be cutting with. Put your thumb right here, like so, and then comfortably curl your fingers around the handle, like that. Put your tip of your knife up against the board, your hand on top, just kind of do sort of a rocking motion. Until it is chopped to your preferred consistency. We are aiming for about a 1/4 cup of this, so I'm just gonna get that in there. Looks like I'm gonna need a bit more, no worries. I think there's just a little bit of honey left on the board, so I'm just gonna wipe that off real quick so it stops sticking to my fingers. Okay. Just another one of these should do it. So, chopping the crap out of it. There we go. And that should be enough rosemary. Add a little bit more. I really like rosemary. So. Maybe once I get the cookies in the oven. But you're welcome to eat. Yeah, we had kind of a sort of feeling of like, do I have enough energy to stream tonight? And just got home, started emptying out the dishwasher. I'm like, okay, if I can do this, I can stream. Let's do it. So, got about a 1/4 cup of dried rosemary that's already been chopped up. Just gonna get that into our flour mix. Then you're going to do the same, about 1/4 cup of chopped mint. This is peppermint that I grow in my garden. It also happens to go absolutely crazy in my garden, which is why we're using it, and not store-bought mint. Because waste not, want not. However, if you use store-bought mint, it's fine. I'm not going to judge you. Not everyone has a garden. So doesn't have to be peppermint. It could be spearmint, or lemon mint, or chocolate mint. Just as long as it's mint. So, just picking it apart. There we go. And let's see how we're doing after I get this stalk worth of leaves all chopped up. Alright, so just gonna take this bunch here, squish it all together, kinda twist it into sort of a little bundle here. And like I would slice cabbage, I'm just gonna go on the side here and start slicing it into ribbons, like so. This particular knife technique is called chiffonade. So I've got my little ribbons. But wait, there's more. I'm just gonna do a rough chop after that. To chop it up even finer. But you notice when I did the whole chiffonade thing, it kept it in the same spot for the most part. So it will make your life a wee bit easier when it comes to chopping up herbs like this. So there we go. That is a 1/4 cup of chopped up fresh mint. Just gonna stir that into our flour mix once again. And now that I've got that going, and that all mixed up, we can start on the rest of our cookie batter. So, moving it to my stove cam, which right now is focused on my mixer, and trying to make up for the fact that I need to replace this camera. Just going to add our 1.5 cups of sugar to our butter. And you want to cream the butter into the sugar until it is light and fluffy. So, usually a higher speed on your mixer is good for this. So, see how it comes together like that? And every once in a while you want to stop your mixer to scrape down the side of the spatula. Not sure if we are quite there yet. Well, can't hurt to do it anyway. There we go. And we're just going to do that again. Okay. Ooh, drink. Okay. That is looking good. Just gonna go a wee bit longer though. Alright, that looks perfect. Alright, so now I'm just going to pour in my honey and almond extract. And get that mixing to combine. Alright, I'm just gonna scrape down the sides there. But otherwise that looks quite good. Really well blended. Don't need that anymore, so it can go in the sink. And now I'm just going to put this back up and turn it on to stir. I'm going to start gradually adding my dry mix. Just make sure that's I need the oven at 350. So, probably even turn the oven off for a little bit. Alright. I'm just gonna turn it up a little faster there. Okay. Okay. I will say these things smell excellent. The spatter smells excellent so far. So, I'm just gonna pause it for a second, scrape down the sides. And also get the excess flour off the top of the beater here. Okay. Just gonna okay. Just gonna scrape down the sides again. Okay. We are almost done with adding the dry mix. Okay. Okay. Don't need that anymore. So just stick it in the sink. Okay. Now it looks like that is pretty well blended, so I'm just gonna pop that off, pop that out, and move on to the next step. So, switch cams to our prep cam. Oh boy, that is some strong dough. Alright, so our dough is a little bit sticky, so this means I'm going to need to chill it for a little bit, kind of reconstitute the butter, as well as so the cookies keep their shape as they're baking. Because we're just going to do one little last thing to make it decorative before we bake it. To that, I need my dough a little bit cooler. And I don't really want to add more flour to it, so these are drop cookies, not rolling cookies. So I'm just going to stick this into the fridge for a little bit while I go ahead and have some dinner. That is, if I have any room whatsoever in my fridge. Oh boy. Moving things around. There we go. Alright. Yes. Indeed, my husband loves me because he got me whatever the heck these things are. What are these, like chicken with bacon?
Cheese and broccoli stuffed chicken, wrapped with bacon.
Oh. Mashed potatoes. Did you already put butter in this? Yep. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Oh. I'm curious. I know, I should be cooking my own dinner, but dang it, I'm tired. See, Costco, this is how you get us recipe bloggers. It's like when you're too busy making dinner for everybody else, you're freaking tired. And it's time. Maybe I should add a touch of rosemary to it. There we go. Okay. I am curious. What does it look like on the inside? That looks excellent. So I'm just going to enjoy this while I wait for my cookie dough to chill. You never realize how hungry you are until you actually take a bite of something. Like I said, ever since I started working back at the office again, it's been a little difficult kind of getting back in the swing of things, especially when it comes to housekeeping. Because, oh man, when the pandemic was, well, I mean, the pandemic's still going on, but before I got vaccinated, yeah, I managed to keep on track of pretty much everything. I mean, dishes were cycled, laundry was folded and put away, trash was taken out when it was needed to, and my word, what I managed to do with home cooking. Now I'm back in the office. It's just having to do the whole shift from space to space and then sit in traffic, which I'm lucky to not have a crazy commute. But then it's like, you want me to come home and do what? So it's been hard, but today was a productive day. I did manage to get my Viking Alchemist Hi, Lorenzo Riggio. I managed to get my post out for Viking Alchemist's sponsored stream that we had about 2 weeks ago. The recipe's out too, so if you want to go to the blog, I have the recipe for mead poached apples filled with poached mead syrup and then baked in puff pastry. And there is also a promo code for Viking Alchemist Meadery that you can get 15% off on their website as long as you're able to get stuff shipped to you through Vino Shipper. Oh man. So, I think I'm going to finish this particular fillet and then we'll get back to baking cookies. Lorenzo Riggio says that I'm Italian. Cool. Where in Italy are you? Or are you from? Are you currently in Italy? I promise this isn't a mukbang video. I just have to eat at some point. I'm probably just going to microwave what's left of this after the stream. Oh, there we go. I know. Not really the sounds you wanted to hear on your headphones. I probably should be muting this while I'm eating, but I mean, if you're watching, you're seeing me eat too. So thank you for joining and watching me eat. It's just as well considering the sun's coming through the window right now and sort of washing out everything on the screen. Yeah. Alright, so I'm just gonna stick my dinner over here for now. Let's make some cookies. So I'm just gonna give my workspace sort of a wipe down right now. It is covered currently in chopped up rosemary and mint with a little bit of butter. So just gonna get that off of there. I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and get a baking sheet out of here. Let's get the biggest one I have. Switch to our prep cam. And I'm just gonna line this with the parchment paper that's been falling out of its box. It'll still work. Come on. Aha. Yes. Alright. Alrighty. Now hopefully my dough is chilled enough. It probably isn't, but you know, we'll see what we get. Scrunch that around that, keep it down. And grab my cookie dough. Oh, well, that'll do. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a tablespoon, measuring spoon, scoop out a tablespoon. Hope the dough is not too sticky. It's pretty darn sticky, what am I kidding? Come on. There we go. Give that a quick roll. And drop wherever it wants to go, because that's how cookie dough works. You don't tell it where you want to go, it goes where it wants to go, and right now it wants to go there. Okay. I will not argue with you, Mr. Cookie Dough. I will not argue with you because I'm about to bake you to oblivion, so Okay. Alright, and it sounds like our oven is preheated. Now, if my dough had been chilled a little bit more, I would actually be rolling it into a ball. But it wasn't chilled, so drop cookies it is. Okay. All right. And here's where I'm hoping that these aren't going to be too sticky, because what I want to do is press them so they have a cool little design on top, which I think I'm going to get more if I actually chilled this dough a bit longer, but we'll see what happens with the next batch. We'll see what Okay, can I please do my show? Okay, so, now hopefully, what I'm about to do will work. Will it work? We'll see. I mean, it might be as the case my husband just said, that we, cook up a batch now, and then chill the dough and cook it up again. Let's try cooking it up again once it's chilled some. So let's... Oh... Nope. Can you not try to talk to me right now? That did not work, so... Hold on a moment. Okay, so we're gonna try to spray it, though I don't think that's gonna still work because the stove, like I said, is still pretty darn sticky. We'll see what happens. Alright, here goes everything. Huh, that actually kind of worked. Let's see if it'll work for the others. Note to self, take the lid off first, as I just broke my T-trivet. So, right. Now hopefully you'll be doing this with colder dough, because this is a pain in the butt. And I would do this with a different glass, but this is the only decorative bottom glass thing I have in my house right now, so it's what we're using. Alright, here's hoping this works. So let's see how it does after we bake it for about 10 minutes. Alright, and let's grab another baking sheet. Just gonna grab another bite of dinner. Okay. As you can see, these do spread out rather wide when we press them down, so don't put as many on a tray as you normally would for other types of cookies. So we're only going to do a double row here. Well, with a lot of other cookies, I'd probably do a triple row. Okay. Probably only getting about 6 on this one. Okay, now let's try this again and throw out my poor tea trivet that I just broke. This time I'm going to try this with the side of one of these decorative, what's it called? My brain is not working today because I'm exhausted. This dish, it's a dish right now. That's about as much some effort I'm putting into calling it by something. Yeah, that didn't do anything. Nope. Right. Oops. Gonna need a... Okay. We'll see how that works. No, I am not saying that, Lorenzo, because that is crude. But you know, if you really wanting me to say it that much, you know, I'm just gonna show you something that, you know, the Americans don't really give a crap about. Because they don't know it's vulgar. There you go. Now, bye. Alright. Alright, 6 minutes left on those cookies. I think it's about 10 to 15 minutes, so we'll see how it looks in just a second as I rearrange my camera to an angle that actually makes sense. Though I am curious to see if the shape's actually holding up, so it's not really holding up. Okay, that actually tells me all I need to know, that I need to chill this dough. So, that said, I'm going to put this back in the fridge. We are going to bake up the cookies we have that are currently rolled out, and I will return to this once it actually makes sense. So I can get good photos of this, what's it called, these cookies. And I know that means we are in for a very short stream, but, you know, it's a day. It's an interesting, exhausting day, so let's get what we can done while we can. And so you can also see what I'm doing. So, in the meantime, eat my dinner. Have a drink. And wait for cookies to finish baking. Yep. So yeah, think what I might try to do at some point is try to have a few more guests on here, because it seems like the Viking Alchemist stream went really well last time we streamed. I know that my friend Ruby from Dryad Tea is going to be in town on Labor Day weekend for DragonCon, but I need to find out when she's going to be coming into town and how exhausted she's going to be, because I think it'd be really, really nice to have her on the stream and make a recipe using her teas, and that way we can also, you know, point out to people going to DragonCon and Gen Con that she will be there and vending, so you can go purchase her wonderful tea in person. But that's just a conversation I need to have with her at some point. And also, speaking of Viking Alchemist, I will be actually having them on the stream again. It will be the first Wednesday of August. We're going to be having Ben on again, and we're going to be talking about the various meads that Viking Alchemist sells, as well as trying to drum up a little bit of excitement for that weekend, which is National Mead Day. So they're having a bit of a celebration at the tap room in Smyrna. And hopefully I'll have some extra goodies to have out there as well. So come watch the stream on the first Wednesday of August. We'll be cooking with meat again. Haven't really quite decided what I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking maybe a mead glazed pork chop or some kind of chicken recipe, maybe some barbecue chicken. Though we're looking at possibly doing a recipe based off of the goat from Valhalla, but the only trouble is goat meat's a little bit more difficult to get in the States, and I guess the appeal is not as high as, say, well, mead poached apples, but I'm just thinking their cherry mead skull would be excellent as some kind of meat glaze, especially if it is reduced with some red pepper jelly, I'm thinking. Just making mashed potato fly everywhere. Alright, so that is the timer. 10 minutes on the cookies. Wow. Yeah, they spread out. I have a giant sheet of cookie that does need to bake a little bit longer. So let's do for about another 3 minutes. And that is my lesson of let your cookie dough chill before baking it, because otherwise it spreads to the whole pan. Which you will see in just a minute. So. And, I'm actually kind of embarrassed by this. I'm sure it'll taste delicious, it's just not really quite what I had in mind. Should probably have made them smaller for one. Like maybe doing a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon. So. Drink, 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 drink. Alright, cookies. Waiting on cookies. Okay, it looks like we're getting a little browned on the edges. So that should be ready. Take out. And let me just grab a trivet so you can see these things. Probably need more than one trivet though. So yeah, that's what I got. They still need to cool because, as you can see, they're still quite soft. But yeah, this is why you need to chill your dough, because then you'll end up with pancake cookie. That's okay though. Like I said, I'll be baking these up. I would say chill your dough at least an hour before you scoop, press, and bake. You'll want to bake until the edges are slightly golden like this, though I would actually suggest probably around 10 to 13 minutes, depending on your oven temperature. Mine is, my oven's a little uneven, but these smell excellent, they're bound to taste excellent, and yeah, I think that's about as best as we can do, given the circumstances, unless you want me to just stand around for an hour waiting for dough to chill. So, anyway, I would like to thank you for joining me for this very short episode of Munchies and Minis. This Friday, I will be streaming again, making a Regency-era punch, inspired by the game Good Society. Please join me at 7 p.m. Eastern for that. And join me next Wednesday when I'll be making some spicy cheese curd stuffed artichoke hearts. based off of Pathfinder. Anyway, my name is Catherine Barsonistas. You've been watching the Gluttonous Geek Presents Munchies and Minis, and as always, stay safe, stay sane, stay you. Have a great night. Bye.